Welcome to the OK Book Club, where we dive into books, stories, people, and tons of different topics. And today is the topic of vocabulary words, and I call them power words. Why? Because knowledge is power. The more you know, the better you're going to do in life. I'm convinced of that. And here's the thing, I've always been impressed by people that have can really speak well. You know, I used to sit next to a coworker when I was an insurance agent, and he was an older gentleman, and boy, he would throw out these words, and I would just be so impressed because, like, whoa, stop, rewind. What did you just say? What word is that? What does it mean? So this episode is for everyone, but really, especially for teachers, parents, caregivers, and yes, adults and children. Children, whether you're in grade school, middle school, high school, college, you can learn these words. You can just start every day, right? But there's no secret to this. And the great vehicle for doing this is, listen, I start them early. I'm a second grade teacher. And we use these words every single day in context, using them in everyday conversations. That's how you use them. That's how you learn them. It's not rocket science. If you think about it, why is it we're going to school, right? Why is it that we know 2 plus 1? Because we've been doing that since we've been old enough to talk every day, right? Why is it that we know how to read any particular word? Because we've been practicing and using it. As the old expression goes, you don't use it, you lose it, right? So reuse, recycle, redo. And how about this one? Reflect. So be intentional. And that's what I try to do. Our classroom is 206. The room number is 206. And so every year I have a goal to make sure I introduce to my second graders really high level vocabulary words. And the first one that's on the first day, any former student of mine knows it's melancholy. Why? Because the word sad, why use that word at this point? Even as a 7 or 8 year old, you've heard that word for years, in the beginning of your short life. Why say the word sad when you already know the meaning of it? So start using the word melancholy. Why say you're happy when you can say you're ecstatic, right? So that's how we approach learning the words. And you can do this in your daily life. Just be intentional. And if it becomes a part of our regular conversations, it's so easy to learn. And the point is that I impress upon my students. I ask them to use them in class. I ban certain words like, you're not going to use the word sad anymore, right? And I give them homework assignments, and it's fun because they go home with their parents and they use these words and the expressions that their parents throw out to them. It's just priceless, right? So obviously all the words have to be appropriate, but I try to use words that, again, like I said, if you don't use them or you don't teach them early on, it's a lost opportunity. Parents, right? I think a lot of these words that second graders, 7 and 8 year olds can start to learn, if we don't have them learn these higher level words, they may never learn them, at least right through high school. And why else is this topic important? Vocabulary words, power words, because they're going to see them on the SATs. SATs are important. And as I talked about this in a previous episode, this all started when my daughter did not know the meaning of the word melancholy, and she was a junior in high school. And I just shook my head and I said, I'm not going to let this happen for my future students. But anyway, it's just fun. That's the bottom line. So one of the words that I always use is facetious. When we're talking with students, instead of saying you're just kidding, say, I was just being facetious. And if you're exaggerating, why say that word when you can say, hey, come on, that's hyperbole, right? And this particular word has a funny story that one student was asked to use this word digress with their parents, that night. And it was just over the next few days. And what the mother gave me feedback on was apparently she was talking at the dinner table and then she veered off and started talking about something completely different and just kept talking and talking. And the son said, Mom, you're digressing again. And everyone laughed. It's just, again, so important. And we'll go through, let's say, a whole bunch more. Pensive. You look really pensive there, Bobby. That's great. I bet you're thinking of something really great, right? If the kids are in class are maybe too rambunctious, which is a good word, right? I'll say, stop this malfeasance, right? When I want them to focus, get through this test, right? I'll say, be steadfast. That word was from the book, The Invention of Hugo Cabret, in the movie. And I never tell my students that word is in the movie. And when they say it, we've seen this movie through the years and in my book club. And when they hear it spoken, their eyes light up. It's just so funny. And in classrooms and at home, things happen. Milk gets spilled all over the place. The cat goes flying through the living room and things break, and you could just clearly say, that was a debacle. That was a fiasco. And that's the other interesting part. You can use two words together that basically mean the same thing, and I'll do that very often. One popular word is, instead of saying the word bragging, stop bragging, right, with your peers. Just say, stop gloating and stop being pompous. Right? And you can introduce the usage of these words because that's the key thing, using them correctly. It's not just knowing the definition. When you talk about the difference between stop gloating and stop being pompous, you're gloating, right? You can use that as a verb. That's another easy way of teaching grammar, nouns and verbs. So here's a couple more. Instead of expressing something that you're disappointed or you're not happy or you're sad that someone's doing something, you can say, that's very disconcerting, right? If you're angry, but maybe not that angry, you could say, I'm getting a little testy. If you're really angry, or if you really want to express an opinion that you hate, that's a banned word. Talk about, you never want to hear that in class. There's certain words that we ban in class, but that'll be another episode. But certainly you never say hate, right? But could you say I loathe something? Again, in a fun way. I loathe broccoli, Mr. O'Keefe. And here's a powerful one, ambivalent. Why is it powerful? I had gotten back word from my teacher that one student had passed a teacher in the hallway, and this teacher had said, hey, this was a student of mine. Hey, how you feeling? And the student was a little melancholy, and, it wasn't her day. And what did she say? To be honest, I'm a little ambivalent right now. And it just struck the teacher as she got back to me and gave me feedback. It was just such a heartbreaking moment, but just such a powerful word because the teacher knew in that moment. And we knew kind of what was happening with this particular student. But, it was always happy-go-lucky. So when we're all in those moments, when we're kind of feeling happy and sad at the same time, I don't know. I'm feeling a little ambivalent right now about all this. A few more. Perplexed. That's an easy one to use every day instead of saying confused. That awful word, hates. Don't say that. I abhor. Right? A fun one is incognito. Instead of saying, I'm going to hide or I'm going to disappear. Mom, tell you what, I'm going incognito now. Salutations. Easy one to use every day. Instead of saying hello, hi, how you doing? Salutations. We also have in our class characters, stuffed animals, just, friends. And we have lethargic Larry, right? And he's one of these stuffed animals. He's a bear and he just can't sit up. And you look at this bear, every time you sit him down, I put him up on the shelf. His head basically goes to the floor like he's about to fall asleep. Larry, he's definitely lethargic. And we all feel that way throughout the day. And, hey, Bobby, how you doing? You seem a little lethargic today. When you do great on something, you do awesome. You get an A++ on that test. Guess what? You did an impeccable job. So don't say perfect, say impeccable. And I will say this as well. We got 5 more, but the words you choose for your young people in your life, again, make sure that they're appropriate words. If in any way these words can be used in a way that's hurtful, no. Too often, our young friends in our life, may not use the words in the best, more appropriate way that they should be using them. So don't go there. Rogue, I like to use that word. Bobby's going rogue today. And again, have it be in a positive way, because any words you can use that can be hurtful, you don't want that, right? So always tweak them to use them in a positive way. Plethora, right? If someone's got a lot of items on their desk, I'll say, "Oh boy, you got a plethora of pencils here today," right? Blunder. I always say, we always have fun with this one, and anytime you can make it funny, I always say, it's not a blender, it's a blunder. Again, if someone drops their water bottle and the water goes all over the floor, that's a debacle, and I'll smile when that's happening, but it's more like a blunder, not a blender, a blunder. The doldrums. Bobby, are you okay? Everything all right? You seem like you're in the doldrums, right? Which is being kind of melancholy. If you're new at something, this happens all the time. Hey, guys, listen, we're going to learn this new concept and teaching point. And listen, we're all neophytes at this point. So a neophyte is like a rookie, someone doing something for the first time. Nefarious, right? Awful, not right. You could say kind of wicked, like in fairy tales, the bad stepmother. Bobby, you're not doing anything nefarious over there now, are you? Right? Revere. Another way of saying I love you, Mom, Dad, I revere everything about you. And I'll wrap up with this one. This one particular student, I'll never forget. He used it all the time, and boy, did he express himself. And he expressed it impeccably, right? Egregious. Mr. O'Keefe, this is egregious. Can we please stop this? We need to go to lunch. We're already 2 minutes late now. Please, Mr. O'Keefe. And, it's just great memories, lots of fun. So, yes, what's the moral of the story here? Yes, learning can be fun. So, as always, reach out to me, kevmok21@gmail.com. Give me a 5-star rating on your podcast platform, the one you're listening to now. Write a review. If you do any of these, With your permission, I'll give you a shout out on a future episode. And until next time, friends, this has been the OK Book Club, and keep learning.